And that just kind of took my mind down a train of thought, as because we've had a gospel mysteries episode on fullness of the gospel, and we explored what that means, and I think it's a very full and rich topic to explore. But the fullness of the gospel, like what is it in the Book of Mormon that makes it contain the fullness of the gospel? Well, it contains the everlasting covenant, the eternal covenant of God and his Son with God's children, with man, with us. And how is that everlasting covenant presented and administered to his children? And I think one of the answers to that question is through the priesthood. And that's something that we see very clearly in the Book of Mormon, especially like in Alma's sermons and teachings on the holy order of the priesthood, and how they administered temple rites and temple teachings among the people. And it was through priesthood. It was through having a living priesthood on the earth. It was through individuals entering into the priesthood order and then progressing in that priesthood order and then becoming heirs unto God through that priesthood order, or receiving that fullness of priesthood blessings through that path, that covenant path, we could say. And we see that very clearly in the Book of Mormon, that it was first patriarchal through Lehi. Then there was a need to establish a church, and that church went out proselytizing. Why? To bring people into this priesthood order and back into the blessings of this patriarchal order that Lehi provided for his posterity, that he set up and established. And that priesthood order, I mean, that is the essence of this everlasting covenant. It provides the fullness of those blessings and access to those blessings that stem from that covenant made to Abraham and his posterity. That's how it's administered, and that's how we enter into it and participate and partake in those blessings, both spiritually and temporally. And I think that's, when we're talking about fullness of the gospel, that's what we have with the restored gospel. We have a restored priesthood order that we enter into, and it brings us, man and woman, right, through the holy order of marriage, and that then materializes in that renewal of that everlasting covenant.
I love how this, in this verse, when it talks about, and this goes right along the lines of what you were just talking about, how it says that they might have life and be partakers of the glories which are to be revealed in the last days, as it was written by the prophets and apostles in the days of old. And what this made me think of was, just as the prophets and apostles prophesied of and looked forward to the coming of Christ in mortality, and that the great atonement would happen. That is first and foremost, by far the most important thing. But it's fascinating to think that they also, as the scripture alludes to, they also wrote about and looked forward to the last days, when the fullness of all that Christ sought to unlock would then be revealed, and the blessings you could partake of those blessings and those glories, as it says here. And on the one hand, I love that idea that there are 2 points in time that all the great prophets and apostles looked forward to.
Thank you for watching. If you found this content spiritually enlightening, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Like the gospel, these little things make all the difference, and it helps the algorithm push out better content for everyone to enjoy on YouTube.